Now we're going to go to our last interview of the day, which is Dr. Peter McCullough. So hold on, this is talking about what's going on with the latest research in the vaccines. So here we go. So we are back with Dr. Peter McCullough. He's a friend of the network, friend of the show, and I got some specific questions for him because they put out a study, his foundation, on the links to autism and vaccines. Doc, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me.
I know this is an important subject to you, so can you, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so what did your foundation find as far as the vaccine issue?
You know, there's been great concern now for basically decades about routine childhood vaccinations and the development of autism. And at the September 22nd, 2025 press briefing with Trump and RFK and others on autism, RFK said 40 to 70% of parents believe their children's vaccines were related to the development of autism. The kids were born normal, and in fact, they took a big bundle of vaccines and they were forever changed. So, you know, this has been out there for the longest time. The Institute of Medicine reviewed this in 2004, and it limited to the MMR vaccine and said, listen, it's just, at this point in time, it's theoretical. There's nothing conclusive. But they encouraged more research. So did the CDC. Meanwhile, the HHS has had an obligation to do a vaccine safety report to Congress and a biannual report since 1986. HHS has never produced even a single report. The Institute of Medicine and CDC never came back and revisited the 2004 papers. So McCullough Foundation received an independent grant, and we basically did a giant review, something along the lines of the Institute of Medicine. We had 82% more information because more time has gone by, and it was conclusive. The majority of studies now do point to the fact that combination vaccination in a susceptible child probably triggers autism.
Wow. So as a minimum, it's very easy to do is to stagger these out, right? As far if you're going to take all the vaccines.
Well, I mean, certainly more research needs to be done. There are predisposing factors. We'll get those out there. Older parents, preterm delivery, common genetic variants, preterm exposure to drugs. This was pretty big. Antipsychotics, anti-epileptics, antidepressives like SSRIs, SNRIs, you know, something where the baby's exposed to this every month during pregnancy. By the way, Tylenol did not shake out at all. So that's been excluded. I think people were misdirected on that. And and that press briefing where they had comments on Tylenol, I think HHS is going to come to regret those because...
Really? Because I've heard that from other doctors as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the CNBC, you know, the stock market report, and they were talking about the company Kendall that makes Tylenol, and all the experts were saying that they're going to have a heyday in court against the government. So,
wow.
Yeah, it just was unwise to say that because it's the only safe drug we can use during pregnancy, and you know, taking a capsule of Tylenol can't possibly be related to anything 4 years later.
So why do you think they did that? That's interesting.
I felt they, you know, remember RFK said, oh, we're going to have an answer on autism by September. It was getting towards the end of September and they didn't have an answer. So I think they felt pressured into saying something. And it was,
wow. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. And, you know, none of them are doctors with medical authority. They should have just said, listen, you know, we're not ready.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so the McCullough Foundation report was sent to all the government officials and they can digest it. I encourage the government to do their own report. They can do their own, they'll do the same literature search algorithms, the same work we did, and see what they come up with. And, you know, ours, we have every paper. We don't think we've missed any. And let them do their own report. I mean, the CDC, Todd, has 12,000 employees, a ton of MDs and PhDs and MPHs. They got $9 billion. Believe me, they have the resources to do an autism report.
Well,
It is a crisis, right? I mean, 3.2% of the kids have it now. 27% is profound autism. I just had a mother in my office. She brought in her son with autism. He looks to be about 30 years old. You know, he needed constant attention in the office. This is really going to be an existential crisis if we don't get a handle on it. But combination vaccination, the majority, 79% of studies showed combination vaccination was a modifiable risk factor for autism, meaning that if we lessened the vaccines, we could lessen the rate of autism.
So, given the decades of rising rates of autism, why is there so little interest in the medical establishment to turn into finding out what's going on, in your opinion?
You know what? It's almost as if they don't want to know. It's almost as if they know this is iatrogenic, which means that we're causing this. But you're right. If the medical community in earnest didn't recognize vaccines as a potential etiology, you're right. They'd be studying everything, because it essentially was 1 in 10,000 when I was a kid, and now it's 1 in 31. They'd be studying everything. There would be alarm bells going off. There'd be clinical trials of drugs to treat it and all kinds of things. Instead, autism is completely ignored in terms of research into the origins of it, and it's ignored therapeutically as well. The government has done no large prospective studies.
Is that for the dollars or behind all this? Is that the main reason, do you think? Or
I think it's this intellectual commitment that our government agencies have towards vaccination.
Yeah, interesting.
And so if they do have a vaccine side effect that's brewing in the background, they're going to ignore it.
Wow. So the wellness company's been one of these companies, and that's why we work with you, to kind of explore our alternatives to big pharma and the establishment. Why is it important to take care of your own healthcare at this point?
Well, we just outlined it. The government is not the mother or father or big brother. Government's not going to do it for you. And people need to do their own research. They sign up for the wellness company. You get a newsletter every couple of days. It's bringing you all the evidence and the linkage. They frequently feature focal points, which is written by my staff at McCullough Foundation. And people need to take control of their health. Wellness company has a motto. It says, own your own health. Let me give you an example, Todd. I saw a man this week who was on testosterone injections, and some doctor had put him on it years ago. And when I examined him, his testicles were incredibly shrunken.
Oh, geez.
On one side, it was almost as if it wasn't there. I just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And wellness company, we have a new product called Mars. Mars has multiple natural products that are proven in randomized trials to raise testosterone. They stimulate the Leydig cells in the testes to produce testosterone. So they keep the testes kind of full and producing testosterone as they should. That is way better than going on testosterone shots.
Wow.
And I think, less invasive, less costly, don't need blood test monitoring. So why not go on Mars? Men who are kind of slipping in their libido, energy, muscle mass, go on a natural product. Any single ingredient may not be enough, but at the wellness company, we combine relatively high doses and multiple products, multiple ingredients in a single capsule. So you really get a bang for your buck.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys kind of self-medicating on the testosterone. I've ran into a lot of them and they want to bulk up or whatever. Maybe they're 50, 60. So that's a thing out there for sure. That's an interesting product. I got to ask you this, because I was in the military. I jumped out of airplanes. My knees are all screwed up, and I saw something that really piqued my attention. The wellness company with the new Ivermectin arthritis cream. Does that work?
Well, it would be used off-label for arthritis because of anti-inflammatory effects, but it has other ingredients in that product that are anti-inflammatory. It's on-label for acne, pustular acne, rosacea, and it really works to clear up skin. So, a lot of teenagers and others are interested. Again, you could use a cream like that, and you do have to go on the wellness company and, you know, go through, it's a prescription, so go through the check-in with the doctor online. But that's infinitely better than going on Accutane, which is a heavy-duty drug that the kids go on with all this lab monitoring and problems with fetal teratogenicity and things like that if they get pregnant. So, so the ivermectin cream for acne is reasonable. Off-label, you could give it a try for arthritis and let me know how it works. I mean, people do. Ivermectin is a very diverse drug.
I will let you know. It's also been reported to, in addition to all the other, you know, things it can do, it may be helpful with cancer. Am I right about that? Or some types of cancer?
There's more and more studies, preclinical studies supporting it. Lots of case anecdotes. Probably not all cancers, but we hear good anecdotes, prostate cancer and others. And so this is now in a randomized cancer trial. Now it's added on into pretty advanced cancer, and it's a small study by UCLA Cedars-Sinai, but ivermectin has made it into the medical establishment clinical cancer protocol. So that's good to see.
It's really interesting. I saw a study the other day that was, I just dropped my train of thought, what you were talking about. But anyway, what else at the wellness company is going on right now?
Well, a big focus on weight loss. So there's been some reports. Now, obesity, by the way, looks like it's crested in the United States, could be on the way down. About 6% of Americans are currently using Ozempic-like drugs right now. I saw an advertisement for Serena Williams on TV, and that she lost 36 pounds. I didn't think she was heavy to begin with, but the shots are grossly overused. I had a woman in my office yesterday. She weighed 126 pounds, and she was taking shots. And the problem with the shots is they've been associated with pancreatitis, constipation, medullary C-cell tumors on the thyroid. The topical applications are invariably way safer. And so at the wellness company, we have a semaglutide spray, a semaglutide spray, which just works to curb appetite as a quick pump in the mouth. And then we have drop, which is retatrutide. That's for more significant weight loss. And this is a great way to do it, I think, more safely, self-controlled. You're not committed to once weekly shots. Now, I've had one patient in my practice. She did excellent on diet, excellent exercise, and she used drop over a considerable period of time, but she's lost 90 pounds, which is terrific.
Well, that's not small. So you hear a lot about the Ozempic face and things like this, where I don't think it's like a drooping face. Or have you heard anything about that? I mean, I've seen articles on that.
Right. And people have said Oprah Winfrey has Ozempic face, for instance. And you can see images on Google Images of this. What happens with normal weight loss is that it's slow, and when you lose weight, it's about 75% fat, 25% muscle. With Ozempic weight loss, it's faster, and it's about 60% fat, 40% muscle. And it seems to be a predilection for losing muscle in the face. So the muscles in the face give the contours of our face. And so Ozempic face is a relatively permanent change that happens.
Wow.
Now, thankfully, we haven't seen that with the semaglutide spray or the retatrutide drops at Wellness Company, probably because, you know, they're less invasive. But people need to be aware of that. Have you seen, Todd, have you seen Mike Pompeo?
Yes. He's the poster child.
Yeah. I mean, just you can't recognize him.
There is a karma. There is a God. I'll go into that later. But so I know what I was going to ask you about prostate cancer. I read an article, a really interesting one, that said, and you may not want to comment on this officially, but that there really was never any need for all these surgeries, and that waiting it out is much better. Have you seen any evidence on that?
It depends. There's always been a tract for prostate cancer called watchful waiting. That's always been there. And then radiation therapy with what's called ADT, androgen deprivation therapy, and then radical prostatectomy. And, you know, most of us are going to get prostate cancer, and you're going to pick one of those strategies. I think older in life, a low score on aggressiveness. And prostate cancer is graded 1 to 9. It's called the Gleason score. So like 0 to 3 Gleason score, older age, watchful waiting. Just, you know, just you don't have to do anything. It's probably not going to influence you. You know, middle Gleason score, let's say 3 to 6, and younger, probably radiation therapy and a shot or two. By the way, the new androgen deprivation shots are just amazing. 1 or 2 shots, and it just absolutely ices the cancer. I've been so impressed. Yeah, the new drugs are really good. And then numbers over 6, for instance, 7, 8, 9, younger person, get the gland out before it spreads. I mean, look at Biden. Biden looks like he has a vaccine turbo cancer. So he's Gleason 9, and by the time they detected it, it's already spread to the bone, probably the pelvis and the lumbosacral spine.
Wow. On that issue, have you seen, I mean, have you been focusing at the foundation on studying the turbo cancers at all? Or is that not?
Yeah, we have. We've had one of my patients who developed a vaccine turbo cancer, and he's part of a small series. And indeed, it looks like Pfizer has integrated itself into his DNA, or at least part of it.
Wow.
So it's very, very disturbing.
Anything else, doctor? I appreciate your time, but
you know, that's the update. I encourage everybody to go to Focal Point's Substack, read the McCullough Foundation Report on autism. It's been sent to all the public health agencies and federal officials. It's going through the peer-reviewed process now. It's received very good feedback because it's so comprehensive, so heavily cited, the evidence tables and figures. Now, we have received some attacks. It's interesting. There's been some ad hominem attacks from trolls, people we don't even know if they're doctors or not. There hasn't been a single qualified or authoritative doctor who's questioned the data. None. Zero. Wow. Just some ad hominem attacks. I mean, so I think that should tell you something. The chiefs of pediatrics and chiefs of medicine, public health agency officials, they are quiet. You could hear crickets right now, because they know they've got a public health disaster on their hands.
Really interesting. Doc, thanks for your time. I know you're busy.
Okay, Todd, thanks.
Until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.